right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A new plea deal for one of the men charged in the shooting deaths of a 7-year-old girl and her father.
Her life was stolen from her. It's hurtful.
Tonight, the pleas of the victim's family who say they've been denied justice.
Near record warm. Friday is warm, but the weekend brings changes. Why next week not only feels, but may look more like February.
Our top story, changing course. Tonight, the Francis Howell community weighs in on new proposed curriculum on Black studies. Tonight's discussion comes just weeks after the school board reversed its controversial decision to remove the original coursework. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Tonight's school board meeting just wrapped up moments ago. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski was there, and she joins us now live.
Mike and Kelly, this was the first reading of this new Black Studies curriculum, so there was no vote tonight. But the parents and taxpayers I talked to are still largely upset with the new coursework. Several months ago, the Francis Howell Board of Education removed the 2 Black Studies electives because of their concerns about political bias in the previous curriculum. The school board's actions have been heavily scrutinized by students, parents, and taxpayers.
It's been concerning, truly, to see a particular agenda being pushed. I think it should be first and foremost what's best for our kids, what's best for our students. And I don't see that happening, and I don't see us being heard.
Students staged various protests, walkouts, and even hosted a discussion about the issue. The board indicated they would only support reinstating the courses with a, quote, politically neutral curriculum. A spokesperson for the Francis Howell School District says the new curriculum for the Black Studies classes will be voted on in March, saying, quote, we're grateful for the many educators who have been involved in the important work of reviewing these courses and providing thoughtful revisions, and to the patrons who have provided input this far. Only one person at the meeting spoke in favor of the board's actions and the new program of studies.
You supported a new, robust Black history curriculum while rescinding the divisive Southern poverty loss and social justice of the old curriculum.
Parent Amy Easterling says while the new Black literature curriculum doesn't seem much different, the Black history course is very different. Before, it was a topical class. Now it's organized chronologically.
One thing I also noticed is if you read the description of the new curriculum, the word racism is never, ever mentioned. I understand that our administration is possibly in a bind with this board and they're trying to get something done that'll get approved, but I don't understand how you can talk about Black history without acknowledging that racism in this country has existed and does still exist today.
The district urged the Francis Howell community to go over all of the courseworks that were submitted and send in comments to the school board or the administration. They are going to vote on this curriculum in March. Reporting live in O'Fallon, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
Developing tonight, crews working to repair a rupture in a natural gas line that led to the evacuation of homes and businesses in Columbia, Illinois. This happened in a half-mile radius around Columbia High School on Illinois Route 3. We're told the leak has been contained. The area has reopened. Ameren, Illinois is assisting the natural gas supplier as they continue to make repairs.
An emotional prayer vigil tonight for an Alton girl shot in her head over the weekend. 13-year-old Renia Stewart remains in the hospital. New tonight, Robert Townsend takes us to the somber event as the community continues to rally around the teen and her family.
From the very beginning, you could feel the pain.
The senseless act of violence has brought us all together to unify us.
And the outrage so many in Alton are feeling after hearing what happened to 13-year-old Renia Stewart.
And it's time for mothers to stand up and fight for our children.
Police say last Saturday afternoon, Renia was standing on the front porch of a family member's home near Highland Avenue and Silver Street when she was shot in her head.
Every day, thinking about my daughter laying in the hospital bed.
Rodney Stewart's innocent daughter has been in critical condition ever since.
So hurt, I don't know if to turn this into anger. I really can't let it go.
Renia is the oldest of 2 and a 7th grader at Mark Twain Elementary School. On this night, more than 200 people returned to the shooting scene to share fond memories of the sweet girl they all love.
Hopefully she makes it.
12-year-old Gunnar Morgan calls Renaya a great friend.
She's nice, kind, she could be funny.
Her two teachers praised their caring student who's a big TikTok fan.
It's just a joy to see her in that light, and that's how we're going to keep it in that light.
In addition to praying for Renaya's recovery, speaker after speaker pleaded for peace in this community and an end to the gun violence. And there were also plenty of hugs for Renaya's sobbing grandmother as this caring crowd held their cell phones high for the girl they're holding in their hearts.
She's going to fight. You're not going to give up on her.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And yesterday, Madison County prosecutors charged two 19-year-olds with attempted first-degree murder. Alvin Perry III and Rayshawn Colvin are accused of firing a gun in the direction of the girl.
A woman is dead after she fell in front of a car in North St. Louis County. This happened on Green Valley Drive near Chambers Road. The woman was taken to the hospital where she died. Police say the driver is cooperating with investigators. Tonight, a Wendy's employee is accused of stealing a drive-through customer's car during an argument and hitting him with it. This happened Monday at the Wendy's off Page and 170 in Overland. Leon Johnson faces several charges, including assault. Police say Johnson also bit the two officers who arrested him. He's in jail tonight on a $500,000 cash-only bond.
Tonight, Ferguson police are looking for the thief who stole a Kia SUV and dumped it in the lake at January Wabash Park. Someone spotted the empty car being pushed into the lake last night and called police. Crews pulled it out this afternoon. Ferguson police say this is the second time this has happened in the last week. They're reminding car owners to protect their property.
If your police department offer these steering wheel clubs, do whatever you can, to try to make it a little difficult for these individuals that are targeting our car.
The SUV was totaled. Police say any evidence was washed away. They're not sure the two thefts are connected.
A plea deal tonight for the second person responsible for the deadly shooting of a 7-year-old girl and her father.
Now the family of Demaya Fleming and Darion Rankin Fleming are speaking out hours after hearing the decision. They tell Brent Solomon they're not satisfied with the outcome, Brent.
That's right, Kelly and Mike. They say they just don't feel like justice was served. Neither of the men responsible went to trial. They both accepted a lesser plea than the original first-degree murder charge. And today's final decision coincides with what was already a somber day for that family.
Today, February the 8th of 2021, is when I buried my son and granddaughter. Today was the actual day of their funeral.
It's also the day this grandmother and mother appeared in court together to hear the outcome for the second man involved in the shooting deaths of 7-year-old Demaya Fleming and her father, Darion Rankin Fleming, in 2021.
It is painful.
Because neither person responsible is going to trial. Back in October, Javon Nettles pled guilty to second-degree murder instead of first-degree. Thursday, Andre Anderson pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter, both accepting plea deals where they will serve 10 years. They didn't consult with you?
No, they did not. Not at all. They didn't tell us anything. I would have told them to take it to trial.
You get our hopes up like, oh, 2 life sentences without parole, 60 years, 30 years for each gun. All through during this 3 years, it's been a speedy trial. We want to try, we want to try, we want to try, we want a trial. Now it's time for a trial. You don't want one.
After Nettles' plea, we heard from Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore.
I believe that the outcome of a 10-year sentence is perfect. It's certainly not perfect justice. It was, in this case, the best outcome we felt we could obtain.
Today, it was like we were up getting ready for the funeral all over again. It was like I was I was burying my son and granddaughter again for a third time.
Demaya's mother is trying to stay strong for her 6-year-old daughter, who remembers losing her sister.
Her body lock up and she shakes and she screams. She want her sister. She says she's scared to go to heaven because people who died go to heaven. She don't want to die.
Demaya's grandmother says she will continue advocating for other families affected by violence in hopes of getting them to justice and healing.
A St. Charles County father is inviting everyone to come out and celebrate his fallen Marine son and raise money for a good cause. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz was one of 13 U.S. service members killed in the Abbey Gate bombing in Afghanistan in 2021. February 25th would have marked Jared's 23rd birthday. This year marks the 3rd year of the Freedom 13 pub crawl in his honor.
We decided on his 21st birthday we had to still do something. It's a milestone birthday. Instead of being sad on his birthday, we're going to surround ourselves with people that love him and respect him and honor him.
Money raised goes toward the Freedom 13 project, which hopes to build recreational retreats for veterans and their families in every state. For more information, look for the story in the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com.
Just hours ago, a new tribute to former Missouri Governor Mel Carnahan was dedicated in Jefferson City. A bronze bust now stands in the Carnahan Memorial Garden near the governor's mansion. The unveiling took place just 9 days after the death of his wife, Jean Carnahan. Carnahan and his son Roger were killed in a plane crash in October 2000, just 3 weeks before he was posthumously elected to the U.S. Senate. Jean Carnahan was appointed to his seat. A public memorial service will be held this weekend for the former First Lady of Missouri and U.S. Senator. She died January 30th following a brief illness at the age of 90. That service is Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Sheldon Concert Hall. Missouri Congressman Emanuel Cleaver will officiate. A public reception featuring food prepared by Senator Carnahan's favorite St. Louis area chefs will take place after the service.
Increasing police ranks with artificial intelligence.
I think this is going to change the way law enforcement does everything in the future.
Tonight, the I-Team looks into how local police departments are using AI to help fill an officer shortage and the concerns it's raising. Soulard is gearing up for a big Mardi Gras celebration. The #1 rule organizers hope everyone follows.
And just in time for Mardi Gras celebrations, the week's warm pattern shifts over the weekend. Where and when the potential for accumulating snow develops as we start next week.
We've been reporting for years on the shortage of police officers, but in some departments, even those that are fully staffed, there's another problem. Many officers can spend up to half their shift on paperwork instead of on patrol.
Tonight, the I-Team's Christine Byer shows us how some departments are using artificial intelligence to change that and why AI technology has some experts concerned.
Whether it's a police report, a warrant, or a transcription of an interrogation, in St. Charles City, there's a good chance a police officer didn't write it. That's because the department is now using artificial intelligence to write routine but tedious police and court documents.
If you look back through the history of law enforcement, originally we wrote reports, then we called them into some type of secretary or someone at the desk typing them out, then we started using computers. This is just the next step in it.
So how does it work? Officers enter information about a case into the system, toggle the AI tool, and it will generate a document by relying on information previously entered into the system.
How can you ensure that this data and everything about this program is safe?
Every officer doesn't just type it in and go. They have to review everything and sign off on it. And the sergeant has to sign off on it, then the lieutenant. So we have multiple levels of accountability built in.
That means more time can be spent on patrol.
For a lot of police officers, they think it's all about chasing bad guys. The reality of it is that's 2% of what we do. For us, 90 to 98% of what we do is paperwork.
Other area departments are using the technology too. O'Fallon, Bridgeton, Lake St. Louis, and police in Lincoln County are all trying it out.
This is a system that can enhance our proficiency, it can enhance our professionalism.
Jinx says its AI program is certified by the FBI's Criminal Justice Information Services, or CJIS.
It still has to be programmed.
Cybersecurity expert Dave Cronister says that doesn't go far enough.
CJIS is a great program to make sure that data is only accessed by authorized people. Unfortunately, it doesn't deal with the integrity or the accuracy of the information.
Cronister says having officers review AI reports also isn't foolproof.
Generative AI could potentially put some statements in that are incorrect or misleading. It could be missed by the officer.
And he says AI can hallucinate.
Let's say I say 1 + 1 is 3. And if I tell an AI program that enough, it's going to start to believe that 1 and 1 equals 3. That's a hallucination.
Captain Ray Floyd says the department is working through all the concerns like hallucinations with the developer of Blue Line AI. And he's got an in with him. It's his son.
It was kind of a fluke. My son is a software engineer. Some of the stuff that he started doing is instead of the AI making a hallucination or adding something that may not be accurate, he has it to where it's starting to bracket if the information is not there.
Floyd supervises detectives. He says he's hoping the program will someday generate leads for them to follow.
I do think we're at the tip of the iceberg. I think this is going to change the way law enforcement does everything in the future.
For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
Nationally, some police departments are using AI to predict where crime is most likely to occur. Civil rights organizations have expressed concerns about how the racially biased police data can lead to over-policing in minority neighborhoods. The St. Charles Police Department is not using its program for crime prediction yet. If you have a tip for Christine and the 5 on your side I-Team, leave a voice message, 314-444-5231. or send an email to tips@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
We're just 2 days away. Yeah, Mardi Gras in Soulard. Thousands are expected to line the route of the Grand Parade on Saturday. It will march down Broadway from Busch Stadium to Anheuser-Busch beginning at 11 a.m. No cans, coolers, bottles, or backpacks are allowed. And don't plan on parking in Soulard. That's restricted to residents only. Both organizers and police are asking revelers to be respectful.
When the party is over, it's time to go home. We work really hard all night to restore the neighborhood back to what it typically is, a nice residential neighborhood.
It's hard to believe that we need to say this, but do not urinate on the streets, sidewalks, houses, cars.
More than 1,500 porta potties have been set up in Soulard. Police say undercover officers will also be in the crowd to crack down on underage drinking.
Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather first forecast. Scotty, we have had all kinds of weather for Mardi Gras.
Oh, yes, we have. And it's actually not going to be that bad this weekend. But boy, today was awfully nice. Tomorrow, it's going to be even a little bit warmer. Quiet night looking down Market Street this evening. You know, wouldn't it be nice if it were 69 degrees or 70 degrees for that first game over at City Park here coming up in about a week and a half? Less than 2 weeks. Right now in St. Louis, we have mainly clear skies. 69 was our high today. 70 was the record high temperature. Look at the low this morning, down to 49. The average high this time of year is 44 degrees. We are off the charts above average. This is unusual, and this is the 8th day of it. Tomorrow will be the 9th, and then we'll at least ratchet the numbers back down a little bit. Still 59 degrees, but with that south to southwest breeze that stays up through the overnight hours, our temperatures will be lucky if they drop back into the 40s. Most of us are going to hug that 50-degree mark, or maybe even a little better. And look at the skies that are mainly clear, stretching all the way back into parts of Kansas this evening. We'll start with some sunshine tomorrow. It was a stormy night to our northern Illinois into Wisconsin. First ever tornado recorded in history in the month of February in southern Wisconsin tonight. Those clear skies stretch back into Oklahoma. Look at the low level or high level moisture that's down here across Texas, and your energy swinging out from the Four Corners region. Tomorrow starts bright. Clouds start to increase late in the day. It is a warm day in St. Louis, near record highs. As we head into tomorrow night, the front's going to be approaching. The moisture increases a little bit, so some scattered showers are expected as we head through the overnight hours tomorrow night. They're out of here by Saturday morning. By lunchtime Saturday, clouds spreading back in. It's much cooler. We're in the 40s early on Saturday, and during the afternoon, only around 50 degrees, so rather chilly over at Soulard. Second half of the weekend, looks like we have a fair amount of clouds on Sunday. We'll be tracking a southern system. Under normal circumstances, a typical winter scenario, this would definitely be a good-sized snowstorm potential for St. Louis. In this case, we're still waiting for cold air. It's not in place. This system may draw some into it, but as far as snowfall amounts go, there's a chance we'll get some wet, grassy snow accumulations, particularly over the Ozarks. A lot of that has to do with how intense any snow might be, as well as whether it falls before sunrise or during the day on Monday. Happening during the day on Monday, it's unlikely you would get much in the way of accumulation. We're not worried about it at this point. We'll be around 40, 41 degrees on Monday afternoon and then back to around 50.
But what will it be like at 4 o'clock in the morning?
4 o'clock in the morning, it will be clear. It will still be 50.
And that's when you're getting up?
And I'm getting up tomorrow morning. Hardee's in St. Peter's, every Hardee's around St. Louis, raising money. We're shaking the cans for Heat Up St. Louis. It is the big day where you can make a big difference for a lot of folks around the metro St. Louis area. 44 counties, both sides of the river.
Sleep fast.
I will.
Please do.
Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
As the Blues resume their season, they will do it without two defensemen. And tonight, we find out if Torrey Holt makes the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The greatest show on turf was wonderful, but they only won one Super Bowl. So I think a percentage of Hall of Fame voters have been reluctant to put in too many people from the St. Louis Rams. Already inducted, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Orlando Pace, and Dick Vermeil. Thus, Torrey Holt did not make the Hall of Fame tonight. Jeez. The two receivers who did get in were Andre Johnson and Devin Hester, who returned kicks also. The rest of the class going in, Randy Gradishaw, Steve McMichael, Patrick Willis, and Julius Peppers. Remember this about Torrey. From the start of his 11-year NFL career through the end, he had the most catches and the most yards. The numbers you should pay attention to for the Blues are 13 and 33. 13 games till the trade deadline. Do they do some selling? And 33 games to finish out the season. They likely don't have enough to win the Cup, but they do have enough to make the playoffs. After an 8-day break, the team was back practicing at Centene today. They will play 3 games in 4 days, beginning with a back-to-back this weekend in Buffalo and Montreal. Justin Falk and Scott Perunovich have lower body injuries and are on a week-to-week basis. Now it's time to nail down a playoff berth.
It's an exciting time. This is what you want as a player and as a team, is to play meaningful hockey down the stretch, and we have that.
You know, mentally, you just got to be ready to play. And you know, we know where we're at right now. We're in a dogfight with about 4 or 5 other teams to make kind of that last playoff spot, right? So, or the last 2 anyways. So, you know, every game's important, and you can't ease into it after the break. You have to come ready.
Brian Baroni and SIU-E at first place Moorhead State. This is pretty. Desmond Polk, backdoor cut, and a dunk in rush hour traffic. Moorhead won it, though, 75-66. To Iowa for the best basketball show in the country, male or female. Caitlin Clark had it working again tonight against Penn State. She finished with 27 points and 15 assists. Iowa leading late, actually 106-89. In her next game, Clark could become the all-time leading scorer. High school hoops at Pattonville. Take a look at the great Kelly Thames, one of the best ever at Mizzou. Pirates were dunking. That's Rashad Smith, who has his own fathead. But Ladue has lost 1 game all season because they can really shoot it. Sam Gellner left side, and then Hayden Arnold on the right side. Ladue beats Pattonville 75-52. Be with us Sunday night for a special Black History Month Sports Plus. What has Jackie Joyner-Kersee done after the Olympics? The top 10 of the most influential African Americans in St. Louis history. We'll also look at the pioneer of sports free agency, Curt Flood. From Cardinals center fielder to bankruptcy and living in obscurity, fighting baseball's reserve clause. 2 years after the first players tested free agency, Flood admitted to feeling vindicated for his struggle.
I don't have any regrets. As a matter of fact, had I to do it again, I think I would do it again, except I would do it differently. This time I would win. I would definitely win this thing.
But you never know, if he didn't do it differently, what baseball would be like today, because shortly after that, everybody became
Well, it was a big win for players who came after him, for
Yeah.
sure. Frank, thanks.
All right, Taylor Swift has sold off a big piece of property, and the buyer is here in St. Louis.
Tonight, we're getting our first look at the medals for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The gold, silver, and bronze medals feature hexagon-shaped tokens forged out of scrap metal from the Eiffel Tower. The games open on July 26th. And Frank, get a load of this. You can watch them here on 5 on your side. Yeah.
Who knew? Taylor Swift has sold one of her 2 private jets, and FAA records show the new owner is based out of St. Peter's. Triangle Real Estate LLC shares an address with the headquarters for CarShield. The sale comes after Swift's attorney sent a cease and desist letter to a Florida college student who has been tracking the pop star's flights on social media.
Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey has released a new lipstick inspired by Swift's romance with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. Cinnamon Delight combines Swift's affinity for red lipstick and Kelce's adoration for Fireball. The shade costs $13.87, the couple's favorite number.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.